Well, we've spoken about this before. We've spoken about the condition of human beings and their disconnection from dharma, or the way of life, and that for countless generations we've all been enslaved of a system which is a compensational mechanism to which we've all subscribed to in order to find safety, hoping that in a couple of generations we will have achieved life eternal. So everyone, all of us, man or woman, are lazy from dharma's point of view. We're not connected to that intelligence, therefore we do not know how to ride that current and serve that current, and the necessary tonus, strength, agility to flow on that current, we haven't developed it. What we do know is how to survive within the system as slaves, zoo animals. So we've built a facade, which is the compensational self, the artificial personality, as I like to call it. And some of us are expert at writing an artificial personality, and we know how to work from the artificial personality, as we've described, is motivated by anger, greed, attachment, ego, and lust, which are the byproducts of fear. And fear is only of one thing: it's of death. And that's what the system, or the so-called society or matrix of society, fuels on. If we go at the root, at the dharmic level, at the way it's supposed to be at the current of life, every one of us is that these aspects of us are offline, women and men. So the healing process is to bring everything into one and go back to the root, so that we can reconnect to this way of life current, the current of life, or dharma, or however you want to call this. But I'm talking about something very specific, to retune to this. And that capacity to tune ourselves to it is there. It's in the nervous system. It's just buried somewhere very deep, very far, and very few people have access to it. And in nature and in life, there are so many powers. So many powers. And all these powers are, in a way, impressive. Very impressive even. So we can confuse any of these powers as something absolute. Our day is for you to decide for yourself by evaluating your life. Like I said, I have no opinion. If you're happy, enjoy. If you want something more, you don't have a choice. You have to go deeper. But from a dharma point of view, or the way of life point of view, or the current of life, for the most part, we've been offline for a very long time. So this doesn't work. It's a muscle, or it's an aspect. Like, let's say, we've discussed this in the videos about the music. So you connect to a sound frequency, and sound frequency comes from a form of a deity, an intelligence if you'd like. Then that has to go through your nervous system. Your nervous system has to develop the capacity to sustain it, contain it, and then eventually, once it creates a reservoir, express it. Then it has to build the skill set to be able to express it, the outward expression. So the same goes for the current of life, or the dharma power, if you'd like. That's nice. I like to call it like this. We'll call it like that. Dharma power. It's somewhere, it's passing, but it's offline. You're unconscious of it. So if it would to come back online, well, first it has to be awakened, but it's so deeply buried somewhere, it's like totally, sleep is not even the word. Right? Let us say now it gets activated. So that particular, let's say dharma is a music. It's a sound frequency. Actually, it is. But let's say for the fun of conversation, it's a form of music. You have never heard such music. You're used to your lo-fi drone bullshit with machines. You don't know real music that vibrates, and within that sound, there's like an orchestra times 1 billion coming from the music as the sphere, the furthest galaxy that exists or doesn't exist. This is like God's music in dharma that passes through your nervous system. So let's say there's been a minute you haven't learned that, felt that music, connected that music, allowed that music to circulate through you, and learn to contain that music. Let's not even talk about express and serve that. That means make the music itself, or act on the vibration of that music. So that's what I mean. You're like, we're going to be weak in regards to this. But survival, according to your lineage and your ancestors, you may be an expert of survival, and in fact, everybody applauds your survival. Every one of us, no matter what kind of life we have, are experts at survivals, and if you're here, it's because your ancestors survived. It doesn't matter how they survive, so that means they're experts to survive, and their parents are experts to survive. Everyone we know are experts to survive, and that's compensation upon compensation upon compensation upon compensation, all extracting or using the energy of the anger, greed, ego, attachment, and lust, which is byproducts of fear, in order to survive. Everyone is an expert of this. Otherwise, you would not be here. Some have let's say, a higher understanding of those energies, and have learned to channel those energies in a more quote-unquote efficient way within the system. Fine. This is arguable, and this is a conversation to be had if we want to at some point. But all of us are experts on flowing on I call it the negative power energy. Let me find another way to say it. The fake world energy, compensation energy, survival energy, not life energy. There's a big difference. Dharma is life. What we know is survival. It's two different things. I said the way of life, the current of life. And what we know, and that's what our system provides as a shelter, it's a survival system. It's there to ensure our survival. It is not there to ensure your life. It's not there to give you life. It doesn't have life. It uses your fear and our collective fear to organize and create some kind of false paradise in the hope that we can survive death. It doesn't give you life. It has not access to life. It knows nothing of life. It is a death system. It is based on death itself.